This week, the Good Design Awards are on. We look at air purification technology. And is this the best in TVs right now? I firmly believe that if you want to fall in love with a television, stand in front of an LG OLED 8K TV and it'll pretty much happen on its own. The TV technologies that we're seeing like this at the moment are so amazing that when you see it and you see the color representation and the blacks that you're going to get, the refresh rates, which obviously help you with things like sport and other fast moving images, you will want one in your home. Well, there's a new TV from LG that is announced and in Australia, and I tell you, oh boy, just when you wonder how TV technology can advance further, it does. And I thought we'd have a chat with Thomas from LG. How are you, Thomas?
I'm good, thanks, Charlie. Thanks for having me here today.
Look, thank you for always answering our questions publicly and also not so publicly as well. You're replying to emails and things like that. We do appreciate it. We are able to provide a better service to listeners and viewers and all that because of the support that you provide. So just off the top, thank you very much for your help there. I want to talk to you about your real 8K television with NVIDIA technology built in and just sort of drill in a bit to how it actually assists with a improved gaming experience. Tell me first about this new TV that you've announced and just sort of explain to me why I need NVIDIA technology built into a television.
Yeah, absolutely. So the new TVs brought out this year is the Z10, the ZX model, and that's available in a 77-inch and an 88-inch. And that was the one that appeared at the NVIDIA release of their new GPUs, the RTX 30 series. And if you're a serious PC gamer, this new graphics card range from NVIDIA is so attractive because it finally lets you unlock the abilities of HDMI 2.1, which is the next version of the HDMI technology. And if you're buying any TV this year, that's something you really want to consider, especially if you're planning on plugging your computer in or a new game console, Xbox, PlayStation into this TV, because the benefits just are incredible. And it will give you an edge if you're gaming, especially out of the blocks.
The TV buyer, I imagine, this is a new thing for them. I mean, when they're buying a TV, they're looking at the refresh rates and the color gamuts and things like that. Now you're putting NVIDIA technology into the television. I mean, it's another thing for them to consider. I mean, what's the main benefit of buying this TV with the NVIDIA technology built in? I mean, is it color engagement? Is it better refresh of what's happening on the screen?
Okay, sure. So when you're gaming, you don't just want to game for fun, you want a game to win, and you want to get better and you want to increase your chances to rise up through the game and be recognized for your abilities. So our TVs are an excellent choice of a monitor, or if you're just gaming from a console, because our TVs have added the new G-SYNC compatibility feature. So if you're gaming, you're seeing things moving on the screen, but actually people don't realize that their game console fluctuates in how many frames per second. So if you're playing really deep action scenes, lots of characters, your PC actually starts to slow down a little bit and you're going to get something called tearing. Now, G-SYNC technology stops that tearing, stops that stutter, and lets your TV match the console. And the benefit is less blur, no stutter, no tearing, just amazing crystal clear images that gives you rapid images that match exactly what's happening in the game. So you're not at a disadvantage compared to other players out there with high-end TVs.
You've also got all the other trimmings built into this as well. You got the Atmos from Dolby, AI acoustic tuning. I mean, you've built, is this sort of the best of what you're making at the moment?
Absolutely. The 8K models from us combines 8K resolution, which is the highest. I mean, you can get to like a meter away and it still looks sensational, even on such big screens. But of course, you've got OLED technology with its self-lit pixels generating excellent blacks. But we've also added little optimizations along the way. So we've got AI enhanced to sound and picture, as you said. And of course, the gaming technology is enhanced with this new model because even while you're gaming and your hands are fully focused on gaming and holding that controller or that steering wheel, this TV, you can talk to it from across the room and say volume up, volume down, or open up this app, or change channel, change input. So you can control the TV without even picking up the remote control, and that's through our hands-free voice commands.
One of the things about 8K at the moment is there's not a lot of content around in native 8K, but you do upscale 4K content. We had a party on the weekend that was displayed on one of your TVs where everyone was watching Mulan, which is developed natively in Dolby Vision with Dolby Atmos. How does your 8K TV display that content differently or in a more improved way than your 4K TV will?
Okay, sure. So if you're watching that Mulan movie, that would have been 4K Dolby Vision. And that's about the best of where movies are right now. But if you feed a 4K movie onto an 8K TV, technically the 4K picture is only 1/4 of the screen resolution. So that's why you need a powerful upscaler. And we use a powerful upscaler with AI technology to intelligently enlarge that image to fill the whole screen. So instead of just doubling pixels, we're trying to figure out, okay, so if that picture was really there in 8K, what would be missing and what can we add? So we're actually enhancing the picture to deliver not only a full screen image, but also with no tearing, no jagged lines, so that all you see is go, gee, that actually looks so close to what 8K could be that you may not even notice that it's not 8K.
It was interesting, right? Because I was watching, there's a room of 12-year-olds. Couldn't have more than 10 because of COVID restrictions, of course. But the movie was jaw-dropping good, right? And that was mainly because of the quality of what they were seeing on the screen. To be honest, I think it was kind of lost on them, what the technology behind what it was that they were that was helping them to give them the experience they were getting. But I caught some of the scenes and I was like, this is just amazing. If there's ever been a time where cinema in the home has hit the pinnacle, this was it. And what you're saying is 8K is going to make it even better. That's right.
That's right. We've actually built in support for a new codec, so MP3, that's the names of different codecs. So we've supported a new one called AV1, and that means that we can actually watch 8K content right now on YouTube. And with gamers out there playing 8K gaming, there's 8K cameras. Canon launched one recently. The uptake of 8K content and availability will really start increasing from now on.
Wow, it's amazing. Look, question without notice. We get a lot of questions on our radio show from people who want to have two people listening to the TV, both with their own set of Bluetooth headphones, being able to adjust the volumes at different levels individually. Can we do that on this TV?
Okay. This TV has...
Because I ask you about that every single time we talk, right? It's a good feature.
Sure. Okay. So we have the ability to output through one set of headphones, or we can do TV speakers and out through a soundbar. If you want to output to two Bluetooth headphones, we actually have to recommend customer purchases a separate Bluetooth dongle, and then it will output to 1, 2, 3, 4 outputs at the same time.
Brilliant. I look forward to you providing me with that product, because you know that every single month I'm asked by listeners on my radio show, how do we do this? Because they all want to do it. And so the solution could no doubt sell you guys a couple of TVs as well. All right, 8K OLED, I'll tell you, just go and stand in a Harvey Norman store, for example, have a look at what these TVs look like. They are sensational, and I would love to have one in my living room, maybe Maybe soon, maybe one day. Always good to have a chat to you, Thomas, about 8K and LG TV technology generally. Thanks for your time today. We'll speak soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlie. See ya.
Acer's Predator line is designed for high performance and speed, making it a great range for gamers as it gives them a competitive edge. The first point of call is the Predator Helios 300. The Acer Predator PH315-52 is a 15-inch gaming laptop with the power to run today's demanding gaming titles. You have the ability to customize your machine with the Intel i7 processor and your choice of a Nvidia RTX 2060 or GTX 1660 Ti video card. The display is a full HD IPS unit, which makes for excellent viewing angles and exceptional brightness. The laptop's battery life will give you around 6 hours of usage, but it's worth noting that when you kick it into high gear for your gaming, you might chew through it a little quicker.
Well, during Australia's last summer, we had a lot of bushfires on the east coast of Australia, and one of the things that was very, very handy to most households was an air purifier. They are very good at removing all manner of different impurities in the air and giving you cleaner air to breathe. I had one in my office, in this studio. We're talking today with Geoff Quattromani, tech expert, about Samsung's Air Purifier. How are you, sir?
Really well, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
No, good to chat. Samsung making an air purifier. It sounds as exciting as Samsung making a doorstop, but I'm sure it's much more interesting than that. I mean, these products, especially over the last couple of years, as we've had isolated events that have made localized air quality reduce, these things are much more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, when I first heard about Samsung's air purifier, I really used to attribute them more to like having a dream catcher in the bedroom. I just never really believed in them because I don't suffer from allergies or asthma. Now, the one that I am testing here is really been an experiment for me to understand why do people have air purifiers, and the timing could not have been better that they were doing back burning the weekend after I received it, because wow, did I notice that they actually do things far beyond remove allergens from the air. And, these 3-stage filters that they do have inside the products actually work hard to also remove odors. So that smell of the smoke coming through the home, the smell of last night's dinner, all those types of things automatically disappear because of the air purifier. So it's not just for people with allergies or asthma sufferers, for sure. It's
quite staggering when you see the air quality readout given on the purifier. I mean, obviously it tells you good, bad, really bad. And you think, well, I mean, I had a bit of an itch in my throat from, over the last couple of days. You don't really think about it that much until you actually see this justification of why you're potentially feeling the way you are. And then all of a sudden it goes to work, and very, very soon you start breathing better.
It's so true, and it's amazing how quickly the sensors on the air purifier actually pick up what's going on in the room that it's in. And if you spray some aerosol, such as deodorant or even fly spray, the air purifier from across the room will pick up on that almost immediately and start kicking into gear to clean that air. And so it does detect that something's gone on and will actually automatically adjust for that. I've actually left mine running 24/7, but you can also put it into a sleep mode so that if it is in the bedroom, it operates at almost a whisper quiet sound that if you do have trouble sleeping, whether it's dust or whatever allergies you've got, you won't be woken up by the sound of that air purifier. So it is amazing just to see it work, and especially with that screen, you can actually watch what it's doing.
Kids with asthma, kids with any kind of reaction to poor quality air. You stick one of these in the bedroom, you don't even have to close the bedroom door completely, do you? It just sort of starts working with what it's got.
Completely. And look, the unit I'm testing is actually for a room up to 60 square meters, which most bedrooms aren't going to be that size, I'm sure. But the range of models that Samsung does have, they do have some sizes that are more specific for 4 bedrooms. The one I've got in this office here probably should be more in a living area, a big, large living area, but it certainly does a cracker job in the office here. That a lot of stagnant air in this room. If I'm not opening the windows because it's a cold day, the room doesn't become stuffy and it doesn't have any sort of odors from just a normal work day. So it always keeps the room, fresh. And I've got it running now, and I can't even hear it. So it's one of those nice things to have.
It's one of those products that when the air quality drops and you've got one, all of a sudden it's the most valuable appliance in the home. There's a bunch of different brands. Obviously, this is Samsung's. What kind of prices and sizes are we talking about, and what are the kind of costs associated with air filters and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the range starts from around $450. The one that's behind me is $799, so it is a more expensive unit. You'll find that the cost will go up as they start to add more filters. So once you have activated carbon filters, which help remove those odors, that's where the cost starts to rise. Replacement filters in this cost around $150. And you will find Dyson, for example, they have air purifiers as well, and they usually build them into their fan systems. Now, the one thing that I have to say about the Samsung model compared to a Dyson is that the Samsung is only blowing the air out and around the room at the temperature it receives it in, whereas a Dyson can actually heat or cool the air as it starts to blow it back to you. So, when I'm sitting in here on a winter's day, this air purifier almost makes me colder if it's working hard because it is blowing this cold air around the room. Whereas a Dyson, if you have it in a heat mode, you've actually got 2 birds with 1 stone type system where it's actually heating the room while also purifying the air. And, you will find that they're quite expensive, those Dyson models, but you've got that double experience as well.
All right, you get what you pay for. I tell you, if you've ever lived through a bushfire nearby, or we've had dust storms as well, I'm sure we're going to have other events there. These kinds of products are helpful. They are a valuable inclusion in the home. Geoff Quattromani, tech expert, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Charlie.
Breville is renowned for exceptional kitchen technology. Adding to their lineup is the next generation fully automatic espresso machine, the Oracle Touch. It offers cafe quality coffee made easily by you. The Breville Oracle Touch lets you choose from 5 preset cafe favourites from the easy-to-use touchscreen. Or you can personalise your coffee by choosing from different coffee strengths, milk textures, temperatures, and other factors. While cheaper automatic machines can often deliver watery or over-extracted coffee, the Oracle Touch precisely grinds, doses, and tamps 22 grams of coffee. Then ensures the water temperature and pressure are controlled throughout the extraction to give you the perfect cup of coffee every time.
One of the things about technology that we use every day is the design that goes into it, that improves it, that makes it more usable. We don't think about it, but there's many, many thousands of hours that have gone into every different product that we use. Some companies do it better than others. I thought we'd have a chat today about the Australian Design Awards Good Design Week as well, which it is this week, and Dr. Brandon Ginn is joining us today, who has been part of all of this for the last 23 years. Good morning to you.
G'day, Charlie. How are you?
Good. Now, we've talked before about your efforts in this space. Good Design Week, the Australian Design Awards. And I tell you what, we really do punch above our weight in this country when it comes to design, don't we?
Oh, we absolutely do. And I love the way you introduced, the idea of design is that it is everywhere. And because it's everywhere, sometimes it's nowhere, And it's only when something has been badly designed that unfortunately people pay attention to it. When something works the way that it's meant to work and it's been beautifully designed, we almost just take it for granted. And that's part of what we're trying to do at Good Design Australia, is really promote this idea of great design making a difference to our quality of life, whether that's a product that we use every day, services that we interact with, the buildings that we work in, the homes that we live in. Every single aspect of our entire lives and our surroundings have actually been designed. And coming back to Australian design, you're absolutely spot on. Probably comes to a surprise to many people that we've got one of the most talented design sectors in the world. We punch way above our weight. We're known as a country, I guess, to be innovative, but what we're not so well known for is our design prowess and our design know-how. We're absolutely fantastic at taking great ideas and turning them into beautifully designed products, services, and solutions. And that's part and parcel of what we're trying to do is raise awareness around that role of design to the everyday person.
You've got runs on the board here. You've been running the awards for 23 years. You've got a PhD in this space. You are one of the people that really has cast an eye over this industry for a very long time. Can you tell us about maybe one or two products that we've designed in Australia that have gone on and had worldwide success? I mean, they don't have to just be products, because design is obviously so much more than just physical items like phones or a glass or something like that, but maybe a couple of tech products that we've gone on and seen success overseas with.
Yeah, look, I think the obvious one that people point to in terms of a brand and a piece of technology that's really gone on and is leading the world is a company like Cochlear, who produce the cochlear implants, and everyone knows that they are not only a company known for their technology, but more so also for their design of that product, making sure that it's not just a great piece of technology, but it's absolutely beautifully designed for that end user, right down to the interface design, the whole service design aspect of it as well. You look at a company like ResMed, who make sleep apnea machines. Another fantastic company called Rode Microphones, very design driven, brilliant technology, and that's an Aussie company that's gone out and punching way above its head with some of the biggest brands in the world, and that's now such a successful business, and they've done it on the back of great design as well as great technology.
What do you think about when you're designing a product first and foremost? Do you look at it and think, okay, what's this product trying to do? Do you look at it and think, okay, what does the customer want it to do? Do you look at it and say, oh, how do we make this as sustainable as possible? Where do you kind of start, and what's the strongest influence?
It's a really good question, and I think that's where the strength of a professional design process really comes in. This idea of empathy is critical in any design process. You've got to understand your end user, your customer. Who are you designing for? I use the example, if you've been asked to design a wheelchair and you've never actually sat in a wheelchair, never experienced what it feels like to not be able to walk, to have to sit in this wheelchair 24 hours a day, for the rest of your life. Well, you're gonna end up designing a really bad wheelchair. So empathy is critical. It's a critical starting point to really dive into that end user's shoes. Another really important part of the design process is knowing when to stop, knowing when to sort of stop designing. And you see a lot of products that are almost over-designed, too complex, they're not intuitive, they're not functional, and they look terrible. So for us, it's a mix of making sure that the product or the service or whatever it is that's been designed, first and foremost, is functional for that end user. It works intuitively, it works beautifully. You don't need to read a 600-page instruction manual to figure out how the thing, turns on and how to operate it. It's got to look good. Design, a big aspect of great design is the aesthetic component. It's got to be appealing to a customer. And that appeal goes beyond just the physical look and feel. If you look at any smartphone now that's been beautifully designed, it's the whole interface. That is also a beautiful piece of design. And then that sustainable component is critical. We're living in a world now where a lot of the products, unfortunately, that have been designed over the many years end up in landfill. So how do you look at a sustainable design approach in terms of the materials that are chosen. Are they sustainable? Are they recyclable? What about the actual energy that a product may use, whether it be a motor car, whether it be, again, a mobile phone? How do you make sure that that all those things have been baked into the product? And at the end of the day, the consumer picks it up and goes, "Wow, this is a really beautiful object. It's a very beautiful and appealing product to use." We have a quote I always pull up from one of our judges, and I love this because they sort of say, "Joy is not accidental." When you see somebody pick up a product and they smile, that's not an accident. That's been deliberately designed into that product, and it's a really, really difficult thing to get right. And you'll notice that a lot of the products that come through our awards, those that have been designed with that end user in mind, that create that sense of joy and that sense of I really want to use this thing, and it's beautifully designed.
Your job is hard because I've seen some of the runners-up in your awards. I mean, you've been running them for many years. I've been following the progress of the awards for many years, and I've come to the showcasing events where you've got different products, where you've sort of lined them all up, and you see that this product is the winner and this product is the runner-up, and I'm going, well, you were working very hard to tell the difference as to which one is better on that one. How do you go about deciding good, better, best?
Yeah, Charlie, that's probably the part of the job that I love most is we bring, this year we had 55 international experts and Australian design experts and architects that we bring together. We throw them all in a massive, shed basically, and we spend a week pulling all these products apart and delving into each of the projects and discussing what good design actually is, what bad design is, and the very best ones float to the top. And it's sometimes it's a unanimous decision as to which ones end up winning the top awards. Sometimes we spend a whole day arguing, nutting out, which one's going to, really make an impact on our lives. And I think we sort of frame it around those three questions. Is first and foremost, is it good design? And that comes back to what I was saying before. Is it functional? Is it been beautifully designed from an aesthetic point of view? Is it sustainable? That's sort of tick in box number one. And then we look at innovation. Is what we're looking at here truly innovative? Have the designers done something that no one else has done before? Is it going to disrupt an industry, for example? So innovation really, provides another lens for us to look at it. And then the third and probably most important criteria is looking at impact. What impact is this going to make on our lives? What impact is it going to make on the business, for example? What impact is it going to make on from a sustainability point of view as well? So those are the, if we start, as you sort of imagine, the tip of the triangle, those products that float to the top, really address that last question. What impact is this going to make on our lives as human beings? Whether it be a medical product, whether it even be a consumer product, is it actually going to bring some joy to our lives in the way that it's been designed? Is it going to have less of an impact on our environment because they've used a really, really clever material that can be recycled? One of the projects that's come through the awards this year is a pair of spectacles. You can see I wear spectacles every day, and these guys are very meticulous in the material that they've used. They basically have used the plastic from drinking bottles and turned them into a pair of spectacles. And that was very, very intentional to say they want to make an impact in taking what would otherwise end up in landfill. And as you know, plastic as a material takes hundreds and hundreds of years to decompose. And we've got a big issue with plastic in our oceans at the moment. So they've taken that problem and turned it into a solution and turned it into a nice, desirable product, which will hopefully have an impact on our environment and an impact on our lives. So that's just a small example of the sort of hundreds of products that come through and end up winning.
If you ask an engineer, he'll tell you what the product can do. If you ask a designer, he'll tell you what the customer wants it to do. That's always been the way that
I love
thought.
that.
If you look at the last 20 odd years of design and your involvement in it, I mean, apart from, I guess, making products more eco-friendly and sustainable, is there a key theme there that you've really seen develop?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I love that comment. I always say, engineers tell us how the world is, and designers tell us how the world could be. They really sort of are much more sort of, I guess, futuristic in their view of the world. Apart from the obvious, the sustainable aspect of design, and I think that's certainly been the last 5-10 years a much more concerted effort into baking sustainable design solutions into products. I think really over the last 5 years, we're seeing a lot more, and I think this is a trend that's likely, obviously, to continue. A lot more digitization of products. The Internet of Things, anything that can be connected digitally to the internet is now being done. And I think that it's also, coming back to the point I said before, knowing when to stop. We're seeing a lot of stuff that's just ridiculous. Like why would you want to connect that to the internet? It's useless. It doesn't actually perform a function. Whereas on the other hand, there's actually a great deal of value that you can bring by connecting products to the grid, connecting products to the internet, and the idea of big data as well being critically important, particularly in the medical and scientific space. Being able to collect all this data and then turn it into something useful. So again, a classic example. If you look at smartwatches and the amount of data that it can be collected, just by wearing a watch in your hand from a medical point of view. And again, coming back to a concrete example, the ability now for watches to almost detect whether you've been into, whether you've got increased temperatures or increased heart rates, and then sending that data away to see whether you may be infected with COVID. That's a very real piece of technology that exists today. I know there's a few smart watch device manufacturers that are looking into this. So I think that, to me, is
on that
certainly
point there,
a trend.
Doctor. One of the conversations that I've had over the last few months is with Greg Page, the former Yellow Wiggle, and he was saying to me, "Well, can't we have an application on a watch which actually looks at your bio changes and tells you, we think you're about to have a heart attack? How many people can we save by them wearing a smartwatch and being told ahead of time, it's time to go to the hospital because guess what? Something bad's about to happen to you." So you're right on there. And if your experience is that, the trend is that we're going further and further in that direction, then you're not just talking about products being more user-friendly, customer-friendly, engaging. You're talking about products becoming better at saving lives.
100%, and it comes back to that question about impact. You can have the best piece of technology in the world, but if it doesn't make a meaningful impact on your life or on our world in general, then it's just another piece of technology. So, I think in the medical space we're going to see enormous advances. Where stuff has been, technology has been designed in the background. It's like electricity. You flick it on, you don't really know what's going on. The light goes on. We'll have smart devices, wearable tech. That's going to be able to do incredibly powerful stuff. And hopefully, as you say, if you think of the impact that makes on our health, on the health profession in general, and the impact that it's going to make on our quality of life, fantastic. More of that. But again, it comes back to there's going to be I think there'll be a plateau where there'll be products that are almost as superfluous, and we're just not going to need them. But yeah. The digitization of products, connecting products to the internet, and that's just where it all is. Anything that can. I'm very fortunate. I drive a Tesla, you know, and I get into a normal car, or say an old-fashioned car now, and it literally just feels like a horse and cart. You know, you drive a Tesla now, and it's completely connected. You know, the car updates itself every couple of weeks. So there's a new software download. It's almost like a smartphone. And you kind of think, I always think like 5-10 years from now, you know, all these cars are all going to be connected up to the internet in some way, shape, or form. You'll have software downloads for motor cars. It's a pretty exciting time to be alive.
All right, very, very good to have a talk to you, Dr. Brandon Geen. The world is really an interesting place because of designers like yourself and like all those that are involved in the Good Design Awards for 2020. Lots more to be announced over the coming days from this event. Look, thank you for all your efforts in this space, especially over the last 23 years with the awards. It's been something that I've really enjoyed over the last 10 years that I've been watching it develop. Best of luck with the program this year. We'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers, Charlie. Been a pleasure to talk to you. All the best.
Big thanks to all our guests, Geoff Quattromani, Thomas from LG, and Dr. Brandon Geen from the Good Design Awards. We will have an interview with Dr. Brandon in the coming days after the Design of the Year award has been announced, so keep an eye out for that one. Comments in the comments section. We'll see you next week.